Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Added Time FPL, our weekly Fantasy Premier League football podcast, happening weekly, normally during the Premier League season, but we're doing a bit of a different take this pre-season. We are doing some individual segments for YouTube, but there will be a podcast live on Spotify, so don't forget to go check us out there. Links will be in the description. If you've not heard of us before, my name is Nate. This is Mike. We talk about FPL. And we are going to discuss a few key topics today in today's segment. So, Mike, how are you doing?
I'm great, Nate, and I can't wait for the season to start this weekend. We are just less than a week away from the start of
Couple
football.
days. Yep.
I mean, we've been spoiled this summer, right? Of all the tournaments we've had, not the Copa America, and we had the Euros, and we had the Olympic soccer happening, and we had preseason. So really, we were spoiled.
Yeah,
This summer.
it wasn't as much of a dry summer than it normally is. But yeah.
But nothing beats the thrill and fire of seeing hiding behind a couch while you didn't captain Haaland Gameweek 1 and he scores 5 goals against Chelsea.
Yeah.
Speaking about hot takes, because we talk about some hot things today. How's the weather there in the UK?
Oh, it's so hot. It's all right. It's currently 31 degrees. I am sweating profusely. I'm wearing a sports t-shirt, like a running t-shirt, because I'm trying to get some, and because I can't podcast without t-shirt because that's not appropriate. But anyway, we won't get into that. But yeah, it's quite warm in the UK. The summer has been very hot. So all of you that are English, that are in the UK, enjoy it, because I know you like to complain about the cold weather. So just enjoy it while it lasts.
Unfortunately, it's not going to get any cooler because some hot news just came in over the last couple of days. We got to talk about this because it's impacting the way I'm building my team. I don't know about you,
It's
Nate.
impacting the way I'm thinking about who's in my front three for sure.
Spurs signed Solanke, right?
Dominic Solanke.
It is one of those signings where I'm like, like I thought I didn't know when they were going to get their striker from. I thought they might even go without a striker. We thought it might be Tony, but no, it's Solanke, a proven Premier League goal scorer in the prime of his career, moving to a team that has goals everywhere, attacking threat. They play a high line. They are an attacking team, and now you stick a striker in there that knows where the net is. Spurs have signed a player. What do you think about his FPL returns potential?
Well, he was up there with one of the highest returning attackers last season. So deservedly so. Yeah, and for Bournemouth. So not even a top flight team. Sorry, Bournemouth. But it is what it is. So deservedly well done on Solanke's part for getting picked up by Spurs. I think it's the man that they kind of needed. I really like how he plays, and I mean, I had him in my team a lot for last season. I know you had him in your team a lot last season, and I know a lot of other people had him in their teams for last season. And now he's at a big name club like Spurs, with Son on the left, Maddison up middle. He could be shooting for Golden Boot this season. Like, it is a very good signing. It's a very tempting person to think about adding to your front three list. You know, you've got your Isaks and you've got your Ollie Watkins, but Solanke, oh, that's a tasty treat and a half, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, Solanke is going to score goals, and I think a lot of people were deciding to go between Isak and Solanke. And the reason why we all chose Isak was because Newcastle's fixtures were better.
Yeah.
But if you look at the first 2 fixtures of the game, you might start to think that Solanke is the actual pick and not Isak, because those first 2 fixtures for Spurs are actually pretty good. If you look at those first 2 fixtures quickly, they have up first away at Leicester and at home to Everton. Those are 2 tasty fixtures for Spurs, for Solanke to start. And on top of that, the manager, Postecoglou, has said that there's no reason why Solanke won't start the first game.
Yeah.
There's no,
So,
and he did it last season too. Van der Ven transferred in, didn't have a preseason with Spurs, threw him straight into the first game. And look at Van der Ven now. He's one of the solidified picks for Spurs.
Yeah. If you didn't watch it yet, you can check it out. It was in our last week's post. We posted a video on players to avoid. Son was in that list because of the lack of number 9. And we did speak about how that Spurs needed to do something to pick up a number 9 for Son to start making an impact again. This just confirms that Son will be out on the left where he naturally belongs, where he gets all these points, where he's tried and proven. You've got Solanke up front as a number 9 now. Spurs is a team you can look at assets now. I think between Son, Solanke, and Maddison, if only Maddison had an S, it would be Sturridge, Suarez, and Sterling from Liverpool. Which so Maddison needs to change his initials. But I think
don't forget about Kulusevski on fire too. Just scored 2 goals.
Yeah, exactly. So, he's having a great preseason. So Spurs is someone to watch, definitely.
And just the last thing on Solanke, it's just his price point as well. He's probably the best pick price-wise and points potential-wise because he's at 7.5. He's $1 million cheaper than Isak, but he's probably got about the same potential. And I think if Solanke had started this FPL season being a Spurs player, like when they opened the game up, he would have come in at 8.5. Would have come in the same price. So in actual fact,
I agree.
Come in 1 million cheaper than he would have because he's now at Spurs. He's got a 1 million swing in his favor. Yeah. Like I'm almost thinking if you can't fit him in with Isak, you might actually want to put him in instead of Isak.
I agree. And I think you'll find he scores 1 goal or contributes in any way with the Spurs' first game. His value is going to start skyrocketing because, as you say, if he joined Spurs before FPL started, he would have been at 8.5 because he had a great season and he now is in a big team. So why would he be 7.5? But because he was still at Bournemouth, they just pushed him up a bit. So very good bargain player to pick.
Also had a preseason. It's not like he's coming in without a preseason. He was well rested over the summer. There's so many ticks on his box. So Solanke, I think definitely you want to take a look at him. And also, I'm also in FPL and in life. I believe in stories. I believe that there's a story, a plot, a drama unfolding. Solanke comes in game week 1, first game for Spurs, and he scores on his debut. I see it. Okay,
well, there you go.
I see a story there, and let's pivot to the next topic there because talking about Spurs, that's my hot take because we did a whole video on Spurs not being the players to pick because they're down there in the fixture rankings, but we also said that they have really good 2 first fixtures, and everything that we've just spoken about is telling me that oh my word, are a lot of people missing out on having a Spurs player in their team because of the first 5 fixtures being bad. But if you analyze the first 2 fixtures and fire off preseason,
combine the first 2 fixtures with your new banking of transfers, you could reset your Spurs team for the next 3 after. So, yeah.
And so that's my hot pick. Like I'm thinking, as you just said, Son's moved into his position on the left. No more striker duty. He can still play as a false 9. He might even start as the false 9, and Solanke comes in a little later. At 10 million, Son is such a good choice. And here's why. This is my hot pick of Son. Okay, because he's currently in my team before Solanke transferred.
We support Chelsea, by the way. It's not a Spurs podcast.
But please, now I'm disappointed in myself. I'm gonna go stand outside with my head down.
Yeah, take that jersey down. You know, just.
I'm so excited about FPL. At some point, and I'm so despondent about Chelsea.
I agree.
Okay, so Son, think about this.
Talk to us.
If I put Son in my team, and I had him in my team until the Solanke news, he's 10 million, which means that I have a better price point to move towards players like Palmer, if I have 0.5 in the bank, or Saka, like this, or Fernandes. There's so many players that you can pivot to after those first 2 game week fixtures that is such a good price point to have that money locked into a player that's got a really good solidified start, strong fixtures. I also thought that he just came from South Korea. That's where his preseason was there. He must be buzzing. You know what it feels like when
he's buzzing like you. Look at this. You've been taking a break from FPL for 3 weeks and you're already buzzing. He's taking a break from English football for 3 weeks. He's ready. He's going to score.
He was home and Spurs did preseason in South Korea. I think he comes back buzzing and ready to go. What do you think about Son?
Yeah. With 3 goals and assists in preseason so far, you can't. I say you can't. It's going to be so hard. It's so hard. I'm glad this has happened. I'm glad it wasn't just, Son hasn't had a great preseason. Salah, Palmer. I'm glad that he's in the mix because that means that there's options. You can't just have a staple team anymore because preseason's actually giving us some good information. So I'm very excited. He might make his way into my team. Similar thing with Solanke for those 2 game weeks. It's going to be an interesting and a difficult first game week podcast when we come back talking about team selections.
Yeah, it's going to be insane. And Richarlison on his way out, but Solanke coming in. And the thing about Son, and this is something that everybody should be thinking about their team, is he on pens? Is Madison on pens? Like,
Is
who's
Dominic
taking
Solanke on pens? Who knows?
I think if I was going to put my money down, it kind of would be Son as that leader taking that. But Madison was difficult to know because Madison spent so much time out last season.
Yeah.
But I think Son, pens.
Probably. He's the captain. Yeah. Well, quickly, we just wanted to make a video talking about this news because we thought this was such a good topic. So hopefully you guys found something from it. But there's something that I need to ask you, and I'm sure people have spoiled this topic rotten, but we haven't given our own opinion on it. And I think we need to quickly go through some pros and cons as to why you should or should not have this player. Any guesses? Any guesses in the comments? Anything? Anyone? No? Erling Haaland. Should you or should you not start with Erling Haaland in game week 1?
This is driving people insane. People are having sleepless nights. People are going through divorces because of this. People are having like existential crisis because you can't. How are you supposed to decide between Haaland or non-Haaland? How are you supposed to decide? Well, Nate and I are here to tell you that there is just choose Haaland from our point of view, but we're going to give both sides. We're going to try and be as
we both agree that you should have Haaland, but on the odd chance that you don't want him, we've got some reasons for you to use as ammunition when you talk to those Haaland believers. Let's start with the easy part. Let's start with the reason why you should have Haaland, because it's pretty easy. I mean, let's just start with his preseason form. I mean, come on. The guy has been cooking. I mean, he cooked Chelsea, I tell you that. But he's got 4 goals in preseason. He's just on form. So KDB's back. The main reason for Haaland's lack of success last season was no KDB. So KDB's back, and guess who's gone? Alvarez. Alvarez has been confirmed and has gone to Atletico. So that means Haaland's pretty much guaranteed to start every single game. I think that's enough. Let's move on.
He's got a really good fixture in game week 2 as well.
Yeah.
Like, if you are planning on banking some transfers and you're setting up your team, they'd even not say the first 5 game weeks, but the first 2 game weeks. You know, you've got such a good fixture in game week 2 where he becomes your captain option. And it just remind you that fixture is against Ipswich. And Ipswich have to survive Salah.
Promoted, yep.
And then they're going to come and face Haaland, right? And not only that, I got a chuckle out of Nate earlier because he's like, I wrote there, shook off an injury niggle to destroy Chelsea. He absolutely destroyed Chelsea. You think he's not going to do it again? I love Chelsea, but you think he's not going to do that again in game week 1?
He literally did it at friendly. Yeah. Nah. The writing's on the wall. There. Can you see it? Here's the writing. It's over there.
Oh, and the last thing was they just fully rested Summer.
Yeah.
Don't take this for granted, guys. He didn't go to the Euros. He didn't go to the Olympics. He sat relaxing, having a drink, working on his, I don't know, his hair. I don't know what he did.
Playing video games, drinking Prime, doing commercials. I don't know.
And I got some insight. If you watch the documentary on Netflix on Man City, he's such a personality. He has a more humble Ibra vibe about him.
Yeah.
And just that confidence and that assured nature. I'm scared for that first game week against Chelsea. I'm so scared. But now tell me why you shouldn't. And just shout out to the person who inspired this for me. It's my friend, brother-in-law, and FPL Everett player in our group chat, this Ridwan, because he's team no Haaland.
Even last season, towards the end of last season, Ridwan was like, you know what? Nah. And I like it. I dig it. He's got balls.
He just messaged me. He just messaged us to say he's also now team no Salah. So that's our next game.
He keeps us on his toes. Keeps us on our toes.
Why no Haaland? One of the big reasons that he started coming out of people's teams, he did not score against United. They just played a friendly, and he was nowhere to be found. And that pivots to one of my other points on Haaland. Why you shouldn't have him? Because sometimes he doesn't do the best against big teams. It doesn't actually, like the way they play because of Pep's system. He's not the player that shines. because he's going to hold the ball a little bit. He's going to make runs. They're going to move the ball around. It's almost against the big teams. Pep reverts to his normal style, which doesn't suit an out-and-out striker.
Mhm.
It doesn't suit number 9. It's moving the ball around. Your players like Silva and your KDB, your creative players that run from the midfield while you're holding the ball, they tend to do better in the big games. And Haaland doesn't. In the smaller games, they just give it to Haaland and he scores for fun.
Yeah.
But the big games, not so much. And I know you mentioned KDB, but is this the same KDB?
Yeah. That is something we have to think about. I know he grew his hair out and he put on a bit of muscle.
Yeah, he looks really good.
But is it the same KDB? We don't know, because the thing is, KDB was out for a lot of last season and he didn't start the season well because he started the game coming in with an injury. So we've not had a season to evaluate him like we've had Salah, for example. So he will be one to just keep an eye on. So it is a good point.
I was disappointed at the Euros as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I was a little bit disappointed at the Euros. And then the last point there I'll say is, and this was Redouane's big contention, and it's true. It makes me think: are you sacrificing 2 high-scoring FPL options to bring in 1 high-scoring FPL option?
It's a good point.
Haaland is stopping you from having Isak and Solanke, and if you add Isak and Solanke's points, and they nearly double what Haaland got, like,
what's the point of having Haaland?
If you can spread that money out and upgrade everybody else.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of people going with non-Haaland, but I can tell you now, I am not. And the reason I am not is Ipswich second week and a Chelsea you can't defend. Okay?
Chelsea don't even know who they are at this point. So really, that's an easy game for them.
And I think that FPL is, and we're going to talk about this every week for the next 50 weeks or whatever it is, for the next year. FPL is won and lost by who you captain.
Mm-hmm.
And your team does well if you captain the right player. But if you don't captain the right player, but he's still in your team, you do okay. So why not have Haaland?
Exactly. There you go. Well, what a way to end this video. I say podcast because we always do podcasts, but yeah. Vodcast. New thing. We hope you guys enjoyed. Let us know what you think in the comments. Like the video as well.
Well, I'd love to know. Just tell us, are you team Haaland or team no Haaland?
Yes,
like, just give
let
us
us
Haaland
know.
Or no Haaland.
Are we alone? Are we the only team Haalands? I don't think so. Who's with Redouane? You can type Redouane, we with you in the comments if you want. I'm sure it'll make him feel better. But yeah.
This reminds me of when Captain America Civil War came out and he had to choose Iron Man or Captain America before the movie. It's Haaland or no
Haaland. There you go. Cool. We'll catch you guys in the next video. Stay tuned. Subscribe, comment, like, all the stuff to help us grow. Lovely. Love you. Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Have a good one. We'll see you soon.